What is up, everybody? Ninja Nick here with Tactical Gaming, bringing you guys another more Pegasus video. This one, everybody is canceling Hasan now. Well, news media, people like in, certain kind of parts of the government, along with slop tubers and a whole bunch of other people. Yep. And need to see more and more of it, considering this dude needs to be shown to be the big retard that he is, because dude acts as if his shit don't stink, and he's not racist, and he's for the people and all this other kind of bullshit when he's not. But anyways, make sure you guys go check out more Pegasus, go get him a like and a follow and all that. Make sure you guys go check out w.gg and use my code tacticalgaming90 at checkout for 10% off. Now, let's see what this will be about. I'm pretty sure quite a bit of this is going to be about the video I did the other day and the day before that about Hasan and, news media talking about him.
Welcome back to a series so ballin', even Michael Jordan subscribed. In today's video, mainstream media is going after Hasan for justifying murder, and he is not happy. He continues to be haunted by Dogtober 7, the fateful day he shocked his dog. A Hasan Piker favorability poll has dropped. Turns out most people have never heard of him. Diddy Piker crash out incoming.
I didn't hear about him until
XQC has responded calling out Hasan for being an unhinged lunatic, saying he speaks like a terrorist. Destiny is calling out Hasan for criticizing the top 1% of rich people, not realizing he's included. Hasan is now claiming his views are actually moderate. Bruh.
Murder those motherfuckers in the street.
He's now endorsing a billionaire for California governor. Champagne socialist back at it again. Ethan is calling out the people who are constantly welcoming Hasan on their platforms. He claims Hasan wants to put people in re-education camps. Asmund has done an oopsie and forgot to pay his taxes. He's calling out Hasan and his politician friend who is potentially engaged in massive fraud. Subscribe or you miss an episode of the legendary series because your gums randomly swell up and you couldn't talk yesterday. It's okay, we're good now, guys, but I don't know what the fuck happened.
Let's up those numbers!
Now let's begin. Right, so last time, Hasan was openly encouraging his fan base to commit crimes, basically justifying robbing grocery stores, robbing banks, and stealing from the Louvre. The logic was commit robbery to stick it to the rich, but don't steal from Hasan, of course. Leave the multi-millionaire alone.
Would you steal from the Louvre?
Yes, I'm pro stealing from big corporations.
So retarded.
They steal quite a bit more from their own workers.
If everybody stole from the corporations, then they wouldn't work. How could you run a business if people keep stealing the stuff out of the business?
Right.
It was also justifying murder and assassinations through some horribly broken logic. But he's back on the news now in mainstream media. And they're bringing up him shocking his dog. Humanity will never forget Dogtober.
Among all the other shit he has said, they have more talked about the whole Kaya incident, which, I mean, is bad. But let's face it, the reason why most people have an issue with him shocking his dog is because he lied about shocking the dog. Not that it's, like, animal abuse or cruelty, unless, like, he's not using it for the purpose, which is, training. But still, it's crazy. This dude literally talked about how easy it is to get freaking detonators from China and how they'll ship them directly to you. How he is called for the death of landlords and capitalists and sitting senators and shit like that. That is the stuff they should be talking about, not, oh, he shocked his dog. Like, really? Really? Now, granted, of course, most human beings also have more of like a emotional response when it comes towards an animal than towards other human beings.
Evan, Hasan reacts to Fox bringing up Colorgate.
This is just atrocious judgment, and I was glad to see many Democrats going online saying, we don't want this guy as the symbol of our party.
The other thing is just, I'm sorry, I look at this guy and it's like the thing that, you know, sort of made him percolate up outside of his own entity was the fact that he was abusing his dog on an internet stream.
I get this. I get the my shock collar.
Yeah, and
Did
his
you
dog.
see
I get the
that?
sense you're not a fan.
Wait.
We got it.
She's like, excuse me?
To speak any moment now at the White
Yeah,
House.
yeah,
We are
you
told
shocked
that
your
will
poor
be
dog.
about health care. This after a major
That's so funny.
rules on marijuana. We're going to have that for you next.
That's so funny. They had to cut
Yeah,
it
make
off.
it like
they had
completely
to cut it.
illegal.
That is, for the record, this right here is quite literally the, this right here is the straight news coverage. Okay? This is the second time today. Expect primetime host to follow suit later today. Yeah. You got so much motion. They were doing the Kaya shock slop on Fox fucking News. I know.
Of course, that's what he took from this, right? That he actually has so much motion. Not that he's getting cooked for justifying murder. Not that he's
theft.
literally known for shocking his dog. In fact, he's just so surprised. Like, how could they say this? Almost like it's your legacy, man. Apparently, he keeps getting trolled in his chat as well.
I mean, just like how EDP445 is known as Cupcake Man, you're known as Dog Collar Shocker Guy.
Is the dog allowed to move today? No. You forgot. The new meta isn't that the dog is not allowed to move. The new meta is, oh my God, where is the dog? Did you kill the dog? I like that you don't even know the name of my dog, by the way. You're just in here. You're in it for just pure shit talk. Here, look, place. Look at that. I've shocked her so much. She's dead. You see that? She's literally dead. She's not even responding to the electrocution. Rotisserie chicken.
Okay, Zeus, whatever you say. I love how he insists
Poor
that
dog.
nobody cares about him shocking his dog,
That
and
poor
we've
dog.
moved past this.
People
and
care
it's
more
been,
about
what,
the dog.
7 months? 7 months, and people are still trolling him. Forever
Well,
the
it
dog
is not
zapper.
gonna go
Who
away
responded
ever.
the way he has no real response to the clip because he knows it's true. What a moron. That small head of his will be his undoing. Showing the zap dog as if it matters. It's like a hostage video. See, they're smiling. Ignore all the horrible things that have been done to them. Judge me by my enemies. Hassan's enemies. It's just the
Poor
cutest
puppy.
dog. Right, so Asbin responded.
They all know about it. That's the main dude. How is it that that's the
So-
one thing everybody knows you for?
Yeah.
Here's the reason why
It's
Collargate
so sad.
matters.
Collar Gate.
And I think a lot of people, nobody's ever really saying this. It matters because it shows that if it's true, it's an indicator of a fundamentally non-American, non-Western value on a very, very deep
Do you know how
moral
many
level.
Western
And I think that the
Americans I
reason
knew who
why
had
it was
shocking
so
collars on
viral,
their
I mean,
dogs?
besides the fact that he tried to hide it and cover it up, etc., is that it is like a direct frame indicator that this person is on a very profound level culturally un-American. Isn't that the guy that shocked his dog? Oh yeah, I remember that. Yes. It's it's his legacy. It is. It's his legacy.
Forever will be
he
known as
posted
the dog
the
shocker.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Poor
this is
dog.
just another case of Hassan's predictions always being wrong. He predicted that everybody would forget about Colorgate in a week, right? And here we are
Yeah.
7 months later. Absolute
It's
cinema.
never gonna
People
go away.
responded, never stop giving him a bad time, never stop. I've literally said this. Hassan could end the legendary series any day. He just has to stop being a colossal regard for 5 minutes. That's it. I'm done. I have no, everything is new information. So, if he just stopped being an idiot, I would have nothing to talk about. But he's consistent. He's disciplined. He's determined. Get this level of focus in your life towards being regarded. And he will never sue for defamation because it will be found in discovery that he 100% shocks his dog with a shock collar. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's tampered with the evidence by fucking cutting off the prongs, right? So you naturally assume the worst there. Dude has formerly been known as the notorious dog shocker.
Yep.
Dude, this sounds like a cartoon villain, notorious dog shocker. The more I learn about people, the more I shock my dog.
Oh, God.
Hassan Twain. I've never seen Asbin shock his roaches. True. That has actually never been proved. In a sense, he would be a better animal lover. So then Asbin talks about the infamous murder clip going viral. In the new New York Times interview, Hassan says that many understand Luigi Mangione killing the United Healthcare CEO.
Which is ironic considering I actually had a commenter on one of my videos say that Hasan needs to be Luigi'd because he is single-handedly the worst thing for the Democratic Party, which I would agree with them with the whole like he is the worst thing for the Democratic Party for them to latch onto, right? Because he is. But does he deserve to be Luigi'd? No. Does he deserve to be deported and or sent to prison? Yes. Yes, he fucking does. But does he deserve being Luigi'd? No. No.
Because he himself was guilty of social murder.
So the irony of
Engels
that. So the
wrote-
irony of that, the fact that there's some random dude out there who wants this dude to be Luigi'd when he is okay for people being Luigi'd. It's like, bro, you gotta watch your statements, man. I'm telling you right now, but he's
about
not gonna.
the concept of social murder.
God,
And
so bad.
Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence.
Like, you care.
I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
If you had everybody operating off of this, the whole world would be chaos. Like, because everybody is going to have a different definition of what social murder is.
Yeah.
Like, for example, if you think that if you normalize the concept of social murder, that means that, well, now if people aren't giving you food at a store and aren't allowing you to pay for your food, or, you know, even though you don't have enough money, now they are kind of killing you because they're depriving you of nutrition. So in that same reasoning, you can come to the conclusion that it's okay to kill them. That's the problem. The problem with this is that the moment that you normalize political violence, you allow it for also yourself. This is the problem, is that I don't want to have any political violence. I don't want to have anybody advocating for shooting people in public. I think that Hasan should be very careful, like, making statements like this, especially as like a public figure, because
Yep, and because there's someone who commented on one of my videos saying he needs to be Luigi'd, so it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad.
people will see these statements and they'll probably view this as like a green light for people to harass him or annoy him or something like that.
No, Hasan will bring down the world government while also being the celestial dragon douchebag that he is. Born into wealth, billionaire dad, still chirping as if he understands the poor at all. And I feel like at this point, he is just a complete fucking lunatic. There's just no denying it. No amount of terrible gaslighting from his audience is gonna change people's minds at this point. He really just wants anyone that disagrees with him to be dead, right? And this is confirming my theory that he actually wants to be some sort of a dictator in the future. Like, it seems like the most far-fetched thing ever, but like every single one of his actions points to that. He's glazing a bunch of dictators. He's justifying murder. He's siding with a bunch of terrorists and people who commit atrocities. I mean, it's only the logical conclusion, and he's trying to increase his power level, so to speak. Moving on to XQC calling out Hasan for talking like a terrorist and justifying murder. XQC condemns Hasan over his explanation of social murder. I still can't get over it how Hasan tries to make murder seem palatable. It's like, how the fuck do you even do that, man?
Wrote about the concept of social murder. And Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence, the structural violence of poverty.
Terrorism.
Yeah.
I said it. I mean it. Chat. Guys, we're not going to do politics in the chat, but let me tell you something. This is a dialogue. This is literally terrorist 101 dialogue. I mean, sorry, I said it. I mean,
someone else is willing to actually
dumbing
say
down
it.
political violence. You're dumbing down actual murder with different wording that makes it digestible.
Not even just
terrorism,
actual murder,
absolutely.
actual
Tremendous amounts
rapes
of
and
violence,
violence
tremendous
done upon
amounts of
other people.
deaths.
Rollins not terrorism. How much?
Dude talks about how he's like there for women's rights and shit, but yet is totally okay for women being forced upon by men in other demographics. Then he's not for women's rights. Neither is all these other people who say they're for women's rights, but yet don't speak out against the atrocities that are happening in Iran.
Yeah. Homicide with political goals is terrorism. What about it?
Private healthcare system. I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
Yeah, they
Angles.
understood doesn't mean it's
And yet,
okay.
because
Yo,
of
this guy's
the
crazy.
pervasive...
See the wording he uses?
See, there's ways of fixing that. And that's one thing is holding, certain organizations like that accountable for their payouts, right? Which comes down to a government thing. But sitting there being like, oh yeah, it was totally justified for the murder of that guy. Totally. Yep. I'm totally for more of that kind of stuff happening. It's like that's bad. That's bad.
He uses words like understand instead of sympathize, and uses death instead of murder. Like brother, it's not understand, it's sympathizing, and it's not death, it's murder. You use those words and it's a lot clearer. Stop, guys. When you sugarcoat this shit, yeah, this is fucking terrorist, fucking dog whistle. Hello?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, this guy's off his rockers entirely.
Yeah, I mean, Hasan knows what he's doing, right? You gotta make it digestible for the average lobotomite Hasan viewer. Actually, the systems are murdering you, therefore, actual murder is okay. I mean, what kind of broken, regarded logic is that? And I pretty much went over this.
Soon enough, Hasan's going to be calling himself like the Turkish Punisher. Just watch. He's already compared himself to like Luffy and all that other kind of shit. So
last video that it's such a slippery slope. When you justify one assassination, you can justify several more. And Hasan seems to think that he's completely immune from this, despite his debate opponent being assassinated as well, right? This stuff is scarily close to him as well, and I really wouldn't be pushing buttons with the amount of people that actually hate him, right? It's just scary. This is why we have things like the law, and Hasan is insistent on making a mockery of it, breaking it. He's obsessed with the revolution. No kings except every dictator in fucking history, which he loves, apparently. So then Destiny calls him out for promoting stealing while simultaneously being in the top 1%. Destiny reacts to Hasan's take about stealing from big corpos on the New York Times.
I can't with young people today. Like, it's one thing if you, can't afford food or something, but when it's all these, decently wealthy yuppies that are, it's their form of protest. I'm gonna shoplift. Why? What do you?
Would you get around a paywall on an article you're trying to read?
This is the most bougie fucking,
it's dumb.
Also, God, the Riz. I wonder if he actually tries to time. I'll wake up 20 minutes before this interview so my voice can be as low as possible.
Would you steal a book from the library?
Never.
The yes for the museum thing, all of this, you can just draw this on the most slop lines. Wait, did he say yes? If they say yes, it's going to be because they have everything because of imperialism. So you should actually steal from every Western museum ever because imperialism. No.
Would you steal from the Louvre?
Yes, the automated process that they design, these companies know will increase shrink, right? So it's actually factored in. The lens that you...
Why do they say shit like this? It's just so obviously not true. Is some amount of loss factored into everything these stores do? Yes. But if everybody starts stealing, then obviously that number is going to go up. And that's not going to be factored in. Places are just going to close.
That's what they do.
It's so crazy that these cringe fucks, because they never shop at these fucking poor places, right? These guys are in all the nice neighborhoods. They never have to deal with the ramifications of any of the crazy shit they say.
Yeah, that and they also
this is why when you go to certain stores, everything is behind a fucking lock now, and it's just going to lead to more of this shit. Ugh.
I mean, Hasan won't care, right? As long as he can order shock collars online. The thing is, if you want Hasan to care about this issue, you need to shut down the shock collar business, right? Then Hasan will 100% crash out. But yeah, I mean, I guarantee you will never see Hasan at a grocery store.
Nope.
Which is fine, to be honest. You're allowed to use your money and you're allowed to hire people to do shit for you or even, order delivery or whatever. But just admit it, right? Can you stop fucking LARPing as oh yeah, well, you're one of the working class, you're one of the poor people. I grew up broke, guys. Literally all available evidence shows otherwise. Then he points out that Hasan is literally the exact person they're talking about.
Don't play by the rules. We live in a society where there are billionaires, where the top 1% holds 32% of the net worth and the bottom 50% holds 2.5%.
Like, bruh, Hasan, you are that 0.001%. Like, does he not realize this? Like, how is he sitting here having this
Oh, he
conversation?
realizes it. He knows.
Jesus Christ. You are the rich bro.
No.
Your family is the rich bro.
The social contract is broken. And then there's also the slippery slope of what happens if we completely break the social contract and no one plays by the rules anymore. And I wonder where you two see the interplay of those two ideas.
Well,
Looking
the
at each
rules
other.
are already
like,
designed in
how
a
do we
way
answer this?
where if you steal from the poor, you become rich. If you steal from the wealthy, you go to prison. So there's only one.
That was so deep, dude. Oh my
So
God, that was so
retarded.
fucking deep.
Yeah, this is r/I'm 14 and this is deep. Steal from the poor and you become rich. Steal from the rich, you go to prison. You don't get it, guys. Hasan is just equalizing the playing field, surely. He'll never do it, though. He's not gonna steal himself. He'll let you do it and get arrested and ruin your life, of course.
Exactly.
And the thing is, he knows he's part of the 1%, okay? Like, he has that much brain capacity to understand that, hey, statistically, I am in the 1% here. And I imagine he's smirking and dying inside, right? At how he's just consistently able to fool the lowest IQ people on planet Earth. Can you
Kinda
imagine
sad.
Hasan Piker alone? Can you imagine how Hasan acts alone when he turns off the stream? Other than shocking Kaya, that part is consistent, but other than, jacking it to Asmongold, that part's also consistent. But he probably does one of those, maniacal Death Note laughs. I did it again. I fooled the fucking sheep. I'm ruining society 1% at a time. He unironically probably goes, I will become the god of this new world, right? Eliminate the criminals. That's at least in Death Note. But in this, he's just eliminate everybody, right? Well, even kind of went crazy with it. But just goes to show this sort of ideals aren't the best. For once, destiny makes sense, but to be honest, this has to be one of Hasan's most regarded takes ever. There's literally zero reason to steal. There are food banks, government programs, churches, all give free food. People steal to resell stolen goods.
Yep.
Hasan is a master of misrepresentation. He would have you believe the only people that ever steal are people who are on their last dime and they've camped out for 600 days and they've ran out of food. And the last thing they're doing is trying to get a packet of fucking Skittles from the store, right? That's what it'll have you believe, and then you'll be like, guys, I'm just advocating for the hungry people. That's not majority of thefts, and you know it. You can fucking see them walking out with the TVs, pal. Moving on to the Hasan Piker poll. Apparently, somebody did a poll about him, and it turns out nobody even knows who he is outside of niche internet communities. Hasan Piker polling, according to Echelon Insights, do you have a favorable or unfavorable view? Favorable 7%, unfavorable 15%, so double. Never heard of him, 60%. This might be worse than the unfavorable because Hasan would at least love people to know about him and hate him rather than never heard of him, right? Because that's a big bruise to the ego.
It's so great.
And here we have the poll. I don't know how accurate this is or whatever, but anyways, we got very somewhat favorable 7%. Never heard of 60. His views are antithetical to what most Democrats believe. 51%. Right, he started coping. I like that the last month of endless coverage has only caused a minor bump in the disapproval from mostly Republican boomers. And the overwhelming majority of people still have no clue who I am. You know he shocked his dog while writing this. Once again, why are some in the consultant class or media treating me like the most consequential issue in modern politics when most people don't care? Well, because you're particularly extreme. You happen to be a Twitch streamer, which is actually not a political space, right? You're encroaching into an environment where nobody wants you to be here, right? In the YouTube drama space. And you're the one who tries to sneak yourself in all these mainstream places, collaborate with these non-political streamers. You start talking about games like Pragmata, which are not really political at all, but you somehow make it to be. You start commenting on gamers, and then you wonder why you're so hated. And by the way, this poll is just I don't know who the fuck they were actually polling, right? They tried so hard to astroturf him. Puff pieces, podcast appearances, articles, none of it worked.
If 3 people learn of him, 2 will hate him. Good. Additionally, the participant pool was 50% Democrat. Of the Democrat-leaning half, 68% preferred democratic socialism to 20% who preferred capitalism with regulation. Overall, left-leaning poll, and they still hate him. Oh my god, 68% of these were like socialists, and they still hated Hasan.
That's fucking
Holy
great.
shit, you couldn't even capture the socialists, man. Waiting for the sound crash out. Right, so Hasan is back molding on Twitter again. This time he's claiming that he has moderate views. This person tweeted,
no, he doesn't.
Someone needs to study
Does he know what
personal
moderate
vendettas
is?
against Hasan Piker turn liberals into literal right-wing dipshits. This is just complete fan fiction, by the way. It's easy. I have fairly modest leftist views.
No, you do not.
God. Brother, you support terrorists and shock dogs. How is that modest leftist views? You want to murder all capitalists?
And landlords.
Yeah, very moderate, man. Across the board, and I'm stubborn, so if they want to oppose everything I do, they inevitably find themselves aligning with right-wing forces.
So
oh my god.
stupid.
The amount of projection. Hasan, this is exactly how you operate. You are so anti-America. You want to oppose everything that is pro-America, and therefore you find yourself on the same side of dictators, terrorists, and some of the worst people humanity has ever produced. This is literally you 100% projecting again. My face when I hear modern leftist views. Bro tips. Communism, openly promoting murder against those who disagree, and blatant hatred for America is modest leftism? Don't you literally align with Sneeko and Nick Fuentes on Israel?
Yes.
Brian Griffin, back at it again. You are literally a parasite on American politics. You exploit those with good hearts who want to fight injustice and manipulate them for your own gain while being a misogynistic, animal-abusing, bourgeois tanky. Modest leftist views like, I miss the Soviet Union. Stalin was a good guy. Modest leftist views. What do you call Crimea? Part of Russian territory, Crimea River, classic. Right, so apparently Hasan, the socialist, communist here, is endorsing a billionaire now for California governor. Did Hasan just soft endorse billionaire Tom Steyer?
You know, you live in California. Who are you thinking about for the governor there? I mean, we have a few folks. It's been a bit of an upheaval lately. I mean, we could play the same game. I could give you a couple of names. You can tell me yes, no, and maybe give a little bit of an explanation. So let's start. Katie Porter.
No.
What about the people's billionaire, Tom Steyer?
So I talked to Tom Steyer. I interviewed him.
The way he introduced him, people's billionaire.
But I think he's the most interesting candidate with viability right now in this race. I can't believe I'm saying this is probably a little bit more responsive than the rest of the candidates are. And all of those guys that we're voting for on the Democratic Party side, the establishment Democrats, they represent the interests of billionaires and millionaires regardless, even if they themselves are not billionaires or millionaires. So
a lot of them are billionaires.
In the case of Tom Steyer, if he's advocating for, single-payer healthcare in the state of California, that's a very appealing policy for someone like myself. I care about the policies and not the background of the person. So, yeah, I think Tom Steyer could be a very interesting.
That's really stupid. You should care about what they stand for and what they do.
Right. Man of the working class. Truly a man of the people. Hasan Piker seems to love billionaires for some reason, but only the ones on his side, right? Elon Musk bad because right-wing billionaire, but this other guy, he's kind of cool. So maybe it wasn't about billionaires. It was always about politics because you're a champagne socialist. Right. How does his fan base look at this and go, no, this guy's totally for the working class. I mean, of course he has no problems with billionaires considering his own dad was filthy fucking rich. When the narrative fits Hasan, he does what a grifter would do, support a billionaire, even though he's constantly stated billionaires should not be supported for any political office. Moving on to Ethan calling out people who welcome Hasan on their platforms for free speech. Hasan calls out John Lovett and others for their promotion of Hasan Piker.
On the note of Hasan Piker, because there's a lot of discourse about him, he's not my favorite person, not gonna lie. Don't hate him. When I saw him at the Con Green Room, it was fine, whatever.
I've interviewed him a couple times, and you know what we do? We disagree.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And that's okay. And I totally agree. I personally think it's great that Democratic candidates are opening up to going on these different shows. Here's where I push back a little bit. When people defend Hasan, they say like, well, he can reach so many young people and young voters, etc. And I'm like, well, yeah, he has millions of subscribers, followers. Like, clearly he's an influential voice. I would never deny that. I don't think anyone is. But from my perspective, I feel like he's reaching people who would already be engaged politically, because when I think of like my kind of random guy friends who are floating in a no man's land politically, from my perspective, they're going to turn on Hasan Piker talking about neoliberal, imperialist, rad lib, whatever, and be like, this guy sounds like a weirdo. What is your perspective?
I think it's not as simple as we already have those people, or
retarded,
these are not the people
not
we
weirdo.
need to.
Right. So basically making justifications for having a sign on your platform. Now, the ironic thing about this is they talk about, oh yeah, I disagree with him, and that's fine. We need to have these conversations. Yeah, the thing is, when Hasan disagrees with you, he wants you dead.
Yeah.
He literally wants to murder people he disagrees with. Those are his quotes. That's not a person to platform. Like, these people always on their high horse. I will actually just respectfully disagree. I'm Mr. Free Speech here. Very nice, very brave, actually. Except the guy you're platforming is the most anti-free speech guy there is.
Yeah.
Also, not to mention, they really act like, oh yeah, Hasan is just he's just another guy. He just has a little bit of a different view. Meanwhile, he's a radical terrorist supporter of these death cults, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, the equivalent of this is like if a person is going everywhere and he's arguing for child marriage and legalizing touching
Gross.
kids, PDF file behavior, and you go, I just disagree with him. I really like having him on my platform here. I'm going to promote him at any chance I get because we need to hear all perspectives. It's just free speech. It's just free speech. Let him talk. Yeah, we get it. Murdering all these capitalists is definitely free speech, right? But what you fail to mention is he's completely regarded, right? There's no benefit to having him on any sort of mainstream platform, right? Not to mention that he
not at
inspires
all.
his audience to actually go commit violence, right?
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Now, yes,
Exactly.
he dances around it in 500 different ways, but at the end of the day, he wants to inspire a revolution. He wants other people to do the dirty work for him.
There's a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and untapped potential, untapped revolutionary potential, as a matter of fact. And it's a great opportunity for organizing, I think, in these unprecedentedly horrible times.
And I really don't get, like, what's the line, right? If telling your followers to go and, do all this violence isn't enough, then what is the line? Like,
Right.
Where is the free speech line? And I find it hilarious. These guys are like, oh yeah, free speech. And then we'll have Hasan's own followers literally justify Charlie Kirk's death, right? Like, we believe in free speech. Also, fucking shoot this guy, right? Holy. Right, so Ethan responded, when will John Lovett and others realize that Hasan is an authoritarian? He wants to put liberals and capitalists in re-education camps.
Yep.
Not hyperbole. He said it on video.
I think the resistance should be akin to how capitalist governments have resisted historically any kind of socialist movement, not to that same degree of violence, but I think that, yes, the solution to that would always be education and offering more
Re-education?
re-education, certainly, yeah. I know that that's like a
Let's put
trigger
them in
word.
camps.
His ideal government is China's one-party communist authoritarian system. Again, not hyperbole, it's on video. Pure responded, I'm not an authoritarian. I just want
Sounds
my
kinda bad.
worldview to be the only worldview, and anyone who disagrees with me needs to be re-educated or eliminated. Shank's nephew. Re-education, it all makes sense now. Kaya's shock collar treatment is the test run. Really swagged out here with his lightning bolts. Please. Someone needs to tell Ethan that they do realize it and they agree with them. This
Yes.
is what I'm talking about,
Yep.
right? They might be like, I do disagree with them because they don't want to be labeled as open terror supporters. But then they have no problem having him around, no problem promoting themselves to his audience as well. And then you'll have these politicians collab with him and stuff. And you start to think like you're really closing your eyes and ears here, right? And that's probably for a reason. Oh, brother, it's Eric. Congrats, you for the first time ever. I think you got more likes than replies. I guess the haters are taking a break today. I think we all need to realize that Ethan Klein is a clown with the full-on obsession with Hasan. His life is almost devoted in part to talking about Hasan, with a confirmed 1,500 Instagram posts since October 2025, all on Hasan. How can anyone support this insanity? Yeah, well, you have 1,500 tweets responding to not Hasan, responding to not Asmongold, but fucking drama accounts that cover him.
Yeah, there you
Look,
go.
son, a freaking regod. Your life is devoted to protecting Hasan Piker, my dude. A full-on obsession, you say. Hasan oozes charisma and makes politics sexy. This is
Ew.
why the majority of people that can't control him hate him. Level 99
gay.
troll. Moving on to Asmongold, apparently doing an oopsie doopsie. Asmon finds out he owes
Well, seeing that that's it for the whole Hasan thing, and this is going to be about something else. Oh, it's 400K. Damn, bro. That's why, as a content creator, you gotta make sure you're saving that money and having it on the side to make sure you pay the IRS. Which, I mean, in my opinion, the IRS should be gone. But anyways, that's it for the video. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. Uh, the Hasan streams are just crashing out. It's great. Like all these Hasan Glazers, like you have all mainstream media and like all these upper government people now talking about it. It's getting closer and closer to doomsday for that guy. That is for sure. So make sure you guys go check out more Pegasus. Banger like always. Go check out w.gg and use my code TacticalGaming90 for 10% off. I get a kickback, helps me and my family and my channel out and everything. Be much appreciated. Catch you in the next one, guys. Later.